So in today's video, we're going to be speaking about how you can best prepare for your English speaking job interview. I'll be going over some practical tips that you can use so that you can enter that interview with more confidence, more belief in yourself, and hopefully you will also be thinking a lot less about what or how you're going to say something. My name's Carl, I'm an English language coach. I help non-native English speakers upgrade their English to that next level. So first tip on the list is to know the most common interview questions. This is really important, as what this does is it allows you to prepare beforehand on potential answers that you may give to these questions. One very common question in interviews is, tell me about yourself. Now, a question like that is very open. So what that does is it gives you, as the person being interviewed, the option to take this in the direction that you really wish. Now, a common mistake not to make here is to answer this question with more irrelevant answers, let's say. Because in reality, the interviewer is not asking what you cooked for dinner last night. They would like a bit of an overview of your career up to that point. They would like to know what experiences you've had, potential obstacles that you may have overcome in that process as well. So a great thing that you can do after researching what potential questions you could be asked in an interview is think about what answers you'll be giving to each question. You don't want to make it completely robotic, where you are answering something and it sounds very, very scripted, purely from memory. It is also good to make it sound natural and explain it in a structured and fluid way. So by looking at potential interview questions and creating a list of answers or even bullet points on what you would answer to these questions, this will be a great preparation that you can do before an interview. Another thing you can do pre-interview is get feedback on your interview quality. This could be done via a role play where you have somebody interviewing you and they will be able to give you honest feedback on your interview and also give you potential improvements that you can make. This is something I've done with clients of mine to put them in that best position before even having an interview, so they enter it with absolute confidence and a lot more assurance as to what they would say in the real interview. So getting feedback via a coach that you can find out what improvements you can make and also hear what you are already doing well, as that is just as important. It's important to know what you also need to do more of. This could be a great way to put your best foot forward in preparation for your interview. So this may be something that you should really consider, as I can see more and more people are using this technique to prepare themselves in the best possible way. Another tip for when you are preparing for an interview is making sure that you think about how you are structuring your responses. Having a good structure as to how you explain something is really valuable, as you don't want the interviewer to be confused or even lost in the story when you are explaining something. In the ideal situation, you think carefully about what it is you're going to say. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end, so that they can follow quite easily as to what you are trying to tell them. As the saying goes, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. So describing something in a clear and structured way will allow the interviewer to really understand exactly what it is that you're trying to tell them. However, as the interviewer may be aware that you are non-native English speaking, doesn't mean that you have to speak totally perfect, but at the same time, you don't want to leave them confused when they are listening to what you say. For example, the interview question that I referenced earlier of tell me about yourself, answering this in a more linear way will be very helpful for the interviewer so that they can get an idea of how your career is progressing on a year by year or project by project basis. So structuring the answers to the interview questions is super important, and that also links hand in hand with the final point, which is working backwards. Now, what do I mean by that? A good question to ask yourself is, what is the person interviewing me trying to find out by asking this question? Now, this can leave great clues as to how you actually answer that question. Doing this, you are able to put yourself into the interviewer's shoes for that moment. What that can do is make it so much easier for you to highlight the key qualities that you would like them to know. For example, if they were trying to figure out how you overcame a particular problem in a previous role, an ideal way to answer that question is by thinking, what was the problem and how did you assist in providing a solution to that? In that example, it would be ideal to show how you were solution orientated. So the next time you have a question in practice or in a real interview, take a moment to think, what is the interviewer trying to find out at this point? This will help you to provide them not just an answer to their question, but an answer that provides them with valuable qualities that they may well be looking for. And there you have it. These are some top tips for preparing for an English speaking interview. Making sure that you research, get to know what some of the most common interview questions are, getting some feedback on your current interview standards so you know what you are doing well and also areas that you need to improve on. Focusing on structuring your answers so it's clear, not just for the interviewer, but also yourself as to what you actually mean. And finally, working backwards and thinking, what is it that the interviewer is trying to find out at this point? These are some highly valuable tips that you can use in your interview preparation. And if you did find these tips useful, then I think you'll also like the video I made recently on the 5 C's to success for your interview. I'll link that at the end, so be sure to check that out as well. But until the next time, start upgrading your English today. Take care and keep moving forward.